Hey, what's up, guys? It's Blake here with Boost Portfolio. In this episode, we're going to recap what's going on with the price action in Bitcoin. We're going to recap consensus, and I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts I had over the weekend about what's really happening in the crypto space. So make sure you stay tuned. I think this is going to be a really good episode, and hopefully, it will allow you to make some better trade decisions and ultimately dominate in the crypto space. So, like always, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, just sharing my journey. Also, make sure you guys get in Telegram. That's where I give you all of the live alerts, access to my model portfolio, and crypto updates. So I'll put the link in Telegram below and also a free newsletter. So let's go ahead and get started. So what are we looking at here? All right, so we have two moving averages drawn here. This purple one is the 200-day moving average, and this orange line is the 50-day moving average, and we're looking at the daily chart on Bitcoin. Now, just at first glance, what I can tell you is we're having some difficulty getting above this 50-day moving average. Now, the reason that is important is because it's a very key moving average that a lot of investors and traders like to keep an eye on. And typically above that moving average, we're bullish, and below, it's a bearish signal, especially when the 50-day is moving below the 200-day moving average. But one thing that I am noticing is that we have just really consolidated sideways for the past 5 months. So really since let's see, January 14th, January 15th, all the way until now, 5 months later, we've really just traded sideways. So that's a positive sign. You know, price isn't continuing to fall, but at the same time, it's not rising. This is a consolidation phase. We can also see we have some divergence with MACD and price. And all divergence is really just with MACD and price is the momentum. Okay, so we can see the momentum is building, but price really isn't following that momentum. And this concept got me thinking a little bit about what's really happening with the overall crypto space and Bitcoin. Now, I was thinking about this concept of divergence, and yes, it's true with price and MACD, but it also applies to other aspects of life. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about was the consensus that we just finished up in New York. And yeah, the takeaway from consensus, from my understanding, is that it was packed. They oversold too many tickets. They shouldn't have had it at a hotel, and people weren't too excited about really what was happening there. But one of the key takeaways is that the innovation is continuing to improve. Okay, yes, we have had, a steep correction, a 70% correction from these highs back at 20,000 all the way to 6,000. Price has decreased, okay? We've been in about 5 months of a down cycle. But during those 5 months, it's not like the innovation and technology has just stopped and gotten worse. Actually, it's the complete opposite. The innovation is growing exponentially with regard to what's really happening in the crypto space. They have atomic swaps now. Okay, we have cross-chain communication. We have scalability issues that are solved. All of these issues that were issues back in October, September, November, December, when we had this exponential meteoric rise, those were all issues. Everybody was like, well, how are we going to solve these? Now, we actually have solved some of those problems. The innovation has come through, and we're solving those problems. So that's what I mean by a divergence with regard to price and the overall trend in the crypto space. And I think the innovation is really starting to improve. And I think it's only a matter of time until that innovation actually catches back up to price. Now, when that happens, who knows? It could be years out. Who knows? But what I'm watching right now in the charts is purely technical, and we're keeping a very close eye on this 50-day moving average. And ideally, I would like to see us close above this 200-day moving average, which right now is trading around $10,300. And I think once we break out of this consolidation range, either above or below it. Now, obviously, keep in mind the slope of the moving averages, the 50 is below the 200, so that's not a positive signal. And I'll show you in a minute here why. But I think whichever way this resolves, above this box or below this box, that's going to really determine the trend, the major trend for the next several months. Okay, so that's something to keep an eye on, is this consolidation range. Right around 11.7 on the upside, and on the downside, right around 6,800. So keep a close eye on those two levels. I think that's above it, ultra bullish, below it, ultra bearish. Now, the reason I keep a close eye on what moving averages where they're placed. Like if for example, the 200-day is trading above the 50-day moving average, typically a bearish signal. Now I have the log scale pulled up here, and I have this pulled up because I want you to follow these moving averages back, okay? So right now the 50-day moving average is below the 200-day moving average, typically a bearish signal. Now when the 50-day is above the 200-day moving average, it's typically a positive sign of a trending market. So we can just follow this back. You can see this 50-day moving average just is continuing to stay above the 200-day moving average. Okay, this is all of 2017. Now we're into 2016, okay? Now we're getting into 2015, and you can see once we broke above the 50 cross through the 200-day moving average, that's when we ultimately had that ultra bullish run, really starting around $300, okay? Now, when the 50-day is below the 200-day moving average, you can see that's indicative of a bear market. You can see the 50-day move below the 200-day, and from there we were just in a steady downtrend. And ultimately, it took us those moving averages crossing back up to put us in this major uptrend that we've been in for the past few years. And if you notice, recently we have that crossover. So there is a reason to be cautious, okay? There's a reason why I'm not just completely invested in everything. It's always a good idea to preserve capital, be patient, wait for price strength confirmation. First, let's see if this 50-day moving average holds, and from there, we'll see what else happens, okay? So as you guys know that follow in Telegram, Tron is doing excellent for us. Tron is really outperforming. So you can see we're holding our position in Tron. I will likely add to Tron, depending on what Bitcoin can do. And also Syscoin, I wrote a report about a Syscoin, let's see, last week. And Syscoin, since I posted the article, it's trading at like 36 cents when I posted it. And literally the next day it jumped to like 45 cents. We're still hovering around that 45-cent mark. But relative to Bitcoin, I do like Syscoin relative to Bitcoin. So that is one of my favorite plays. Just another thought that I had on Syscoin, if those of you that don't know what it is, it's basically just a decentralized marketplace on the blockchain. And they will be releasing their web wallet, and I guess not necessarily a wallet, but Block Market Web, which is basically just you can type into your browser and shop from the blockchain on the web browser. Once that goes live, over 40% people that don't have banks, that's 40% of the population in the world, will have access to crypto just by selling goods that they make and have listing on Block Market, and they can be paid in crypto. So that will give a huge population access to cryptocurrency, which currently I think is a big barrier, is actually converting fiat into crypto. Well, this gives them an opportunity just to go from products and services straight into crypto. So I think that's very huge and actually being overlooked by a lot of people. So keep an eye on Syscoin. I think it's going to be huge. And real quick, guys, let's wrap it up with Bitcoin. Keeping a very close eye on the 50-day moving average, okay? So we're watching that, and I'll keep you guys updated. Make sure you hop in Telegram, and make sure you click the link below to get in Telegram, and also sign up for our newsletter where I give you crypto picks. Have a good one, guys.